Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Entrepreneur Rush. Today, Emil and I are going to be talking a bit about Black Friday and some hacks you can use to really drive those profits. Emil, how are you feeling about Black Friday?
Oh, I'm pumped, baby. This is record time. This is the time of the year when it's, advertisers and marketers, we get to really show off and make crazy numbers. So I'm super excited. Even more so this year, by the way, with the lockdowns, because Black Friday is, becoming a bigger and bigger holiday every year, up 20% from last year, where they already sold for $7.4 billion. But with lockdowns, I really think that online sale is just going to explode.
Yeah, it's just crazy. I know advertising prices have been steadily going up, and we've turned off all ads for clients who are not e-commerce shops or running special sales for Black Friday. It's just too expensive.
Just a whole other beast that we're dealing with. And I'm super excited to be sharing some of the tricks that we take advantage of, from starting early to utilizing newsletters and everything else exciting that's about to be dropped here.
So yeah, we've all got shit to do, Emil. Why don't you share that with us?
All right, let's jump right into it. So where do you start? I think number one is strategy. You always want to begin with strategy. And I'm seeing you laughing over there, Thomas. I know this is coming, right?
Guys, with Emil, it's always strategy, strategy, strategy.
Right, strategy first. You need to know where you're going, right? If you don't know where you're going, how are you going to get there? So you want to start with strategy. And the main thing you want to ask yourself is, what am I trying to achieve and why? If you know what you're trying to achieve and why you're trying to achieve this, you can sort of build a strategy around it. You can lay the groundwork to facilitate that progress. And the reason it's really important, especially for Black Friday, is that a lot of people are driving not profits, but sales. They're selling and selling and selling, and they're making no money. There's a reason you don't see Apple frantically running sales on their newest models. Instead, they consider carefully when to discount something and why. And it's the same thing you want to be doing. You want to consider, are you trying to sell out last year's products? Are you trying to get more first-time purchases? Because if you are, right, you're willing to invest in that because the lifetime value and stuff makes sense. What are you trying to achieve? And then strategize around that. That's step number one.
Okay, so you want to have an idea of where you're going. Once you have that idea, what's the first thing concretely that you start doing?
Ooh, yeah, it's a combination, right? You want to have a landing page and you want to have a newsletter. And what do I mean by this? What I mean is that people are already visiting your website. You can take advantage of this. You can grow your newsletter exponentially in the days leading up to Black Friday simply by offering early access or access to special things on Black Friday. This, by the way, will not only provide massive long-term value as your newsletter is growing very cheaply, it will also ensure that you sell more on the day itself. And the way you do that more concretely is that when people visit your website, you have a banner or a bar or some sort of call to action that sent them to a landing page about Black Friday. And there you have a major big countdown, right? It's creating hype. It's going crazy. And sort of having a newsletter sign up on that same page where, this is when Black Friday starts 5 days from now, 7 days from now. But if you give us your email right here, you're going to be getting early access or special access.
It sounds like what you're proposing is to start Black Friday sales earlier than Friday for certain people. Isn't that kind of cheating?
Sure, it's cheating. I love to cheat because when you start early, you don't have to compete with everybody else. This is a win-win nowadays in sort of digitalization because the way Facebook and other platforms work, it's a marketplace. The more people that advertise, the more you pay. So by starting early, you can actually tap into the sort of consumer mindset of, I need to purchase for Black Friday. I need these sort of products while not having to pay the same amount as everybody else.
But starting early just prolongs that sale. Black Friday is all about urgency. Don't you lose that when you do that?
Well, that depends how you do it, right? You know all about this, but urgency really is key. And that's why Black Friday has those 7.4 billion crazy numbers from 2019. But the way you circumvent it is you don't have a sale from, say the 20th to the 27th on everything. You don't run a 20% off at all. No, you run it on a certain category every day or a certain series of products, thereby keeping people drawn in from the beginning and to the end.
Great. Let's take a step back from all this advertising, marketing stuff. You also work a lot with strategic design. How do your graphics, your ad creative, your website design, and so on have to change for Black Friday?
Oh yeah, love that question. You really want to tailor everything you're doing for Black Friday. People are looking for this, right? The consumer out there is waiting for that offer. There are people that don't care about it, but those people aren't going to be purchasing anyway. And what are you trying to achieve with your ads? What are you trying to achieve with your website in this period? Well, you're trying to sell. So what you want to be doing is you want to choose colors on your website. You want to choose banners. You want to choose creative that sort of reflects that a big Black Friday sale is coming up. This way, you're taking advantage of people that are already visiting your website. You're sort of making clear that they understand what's going on. They don't have to look for it. And you're also going to be doing this in your advertising, because when your advertising clearly says Black Friday 20% off in sort of a red-black combination, everyone knows that your brand is having a sale, and that's how you're going to sell.
I totally get that. I see that all the time now in the past week. Every ad I see, every website, every e-commerce site I visit has, that massive banner and so on.
Yeah, absolutely. And just sorry to interrupt you there, because this is super important, because I bring this up in meetings every day and they're like, yeah, but you're always telling us to stand out. How are we going to be standing out if we're doing everything that everybody else is? And that's a great point. But the thing is, the one time you don't want to you don't want to stand out is sort of in a promotion like this. We want to stand out with the offers that we have. We want to stand out with the way that we're going about it. We want to stand out in sort of different elements, but we don't want our creative to stand out, because these people are looking for one thing specifically, and that's what we're going to be giving them.
That makes a ton of sense. And you also introduced something that I was about to mention myself. We have a kind of a red thread here, right? You start with strategy, you move on growing your newsletter long term, but also in order to promote your Black Friday sales. You start early, you change your design, you create urgency. But all of this, there's a second red thread we haven't talked a lot about, which is your competitor is doing the exact same thing. How do you deal with that? How do you avoid a race to the bottom where, you're putting a sale on, he's putting a sale on, and then you keep lowering it?
Absolutely love it, Thomas, right? The number one thing that people fuck up on Black Friday is that they're just selling a ton and they're making zero money. So the way that you solve this sort of race to the bottom problem is that you make you map your competitors. I'm always saying, look at what your competitors are doing, not to copy what they're doing, but to sort of find out what they're doing wrong and sort of do it differently. This time, we're going to be doing something similar. So what we're trying to achieve now is we're going to be looking at competitors. We're looking at what are they trying to sell. Rather than selling the exact same thing, we will be selling complementary products. This way, we're avoiding this sort of race to the bottom that they have a certain Samsung model off 20%. You match it. None of you are winning out. Now you're going to 25. Eventually, you're making no profit. Instead, we're saying, oh, you're running it on Samsung? Or we have a great sale on Philips, and you're going to be promoting why Philips is the way you want to go. Or even, right, there are a lot of great Samsung models. Well, you pick a model that they're not running. And that way, you ultimately end up better off, both for you and the competitor, by the way.
Loving it, Emil. I love that you started with strategy and you ended with strategy on how to deal with your competitor, right? You have to do a competitor analysis. You have to check out his products, check out his sales, and then really think about where am I putting my sales and kind of, bringing it full circle. Classic Emil. Let's break it down for everyone. What's the main takeaway here?
Ooh, that's a lot of takeaways, right? But the sort of the main things that you want to be aware of is start with strategy so that you know where you're going, so that you're definitely going to be making profits if that's what you're trying to do, or building first-time purchasers. So where do you want to go? Figure that out. Second, you want to combine starting early with growing your newsletter. This way you can get a huge following that you can use for Black Friday and beyond. And at the same time, you can be running ads and sort of campaigning while everybody else is not, therefore advertising cheaper. I am aware, by the way, that more and more people are tapping into this Black Week, but trust me, it's nowhere near the amount of companies that are dumping money on the day itself. Once you've gotten that down, you want to work strategically with your design. You want to make sure that all of your creative, that your website, that your landing pages, that they reflect, we have a big sale going on. The place to be on Black Friday is our website. Now that you have the strategic design down, you want to map your competitors, right? Make sure you don't have a race to the bottom. You want to either be doing what they're doing cheaper, better, or differently. For Black Friday, I like to not go for cheaper, because if you go cheaper and they're already running sales, you're losing money. So what we'll be doing instead, we're going to be doing what they're doing better or differently. Both work, depends on the scenario. Once you have all of that down, you want to work throughout Black Friday to maintain urgency. Send out a lot of newsletters. Don't be afraid, as long as you're providing value. People love value. People love sales. Segment. Don't send the same newsletter out to people that just purchased. Don't send out vegan newsletters to people that love meat. So segment throughout the day and make sure that you're not bombing people, but you're providing consistent value. And then please, please, guys, if you want to sell a lot, take advantage of reminders. Reminders are crazy. The reason I'm really stressing this is because a lot of orders fall towards the end of the sale. By taking advantage of reminders, you can really push those numbers and make that much more out of your sale. Additionally, for Black Friday, I recommend that you use those reminders to also promote the sale that's taking place the day after. That way you don't have to send out an extra email.
Love it, Emil. I think you've provided so much value today. I think, this will really change the way a lot of our listeners approach Black Friday and how they prepare for that.
Yeah, I totally agree. And I really hope so. Reality is that a lot of people probably won't change their strategy. They're going to be doing the same old boring thing that's not going to be breaking records. But to those of you that actually want to sell like crazy, this is the way you go about it. This provides so much value. It provides an incentive for people to shop, and it creates a newsletter following that's going to be making you money, not only for Black Friday, but also for Christmas and everything that happens after. All right, everyone. Black Friday is right around the corner. We're done with today's episode, but your job is just getting started. Get out there, take advantage, and break those records. And now's the time to share and subscribe.